What are the key lessons that India has learned, and what are the tough calls that need to be taken to ensure that India, which takes a lot of pride in being a top cricketing nation, does not repeat mistakes that have happened over the last few days?
I think that overall outlook of how Test cricket is played is something that they definitely need to think about. I think for some time now, off spinners have troubled us to a fair extent, and I think that's going to be a key question for them to answer. With a Nathan Lyon looming large when they play Australia, when they play on turning tracks on day 3, 4, and 5, he will be a handful to deal with. How are they going to deal with them? When we travel abroad, we obviously have a camp where we play so that we get acclimatized to the conditions. Is there something that along those lines that we need to do in order to prepare for the Australian series, especially the test match pros, so to say? That is one question that they need to answer. But the whole month of January, they have a lot of white ball cricket to be played, so how are they going to rotate that? We are looking at two big questions, I think, when we play Australia. Are you going to be happy with KL Rahul as being the opener? And are you going to be, in many ways, choosing between Akshar and Kuldeep as the third spinner? These are the two big questions that loom large as we speak now. And, to be fair, these are tough questions to answer right now. But it will be the questions that need to be answered at that stage. With Bumrah and Shami coming in, I think they will replace an Umesh and Siraj, unless they decide to go in with three fast bowlers. Then I think it'll be a toss-up between Umesh or Siraj. But right now, I do feel Siraj will get the nod ahead of Umesh right now. So we have our three frontline bowlers. If all three are fit, will be Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj. And among the spinners, it will be Ashwin number 1, Jadeja 2. The third one will be a toss-up between Kuldeep and Akshar. So these are the questions that they need to be looking at when they come back for the series against Australia.
I know cricket experts and broadcasters do not like being put in hypothetical situations, but say Dinesh Karthik's services were called on to decide what India's 11 should be for that first test match against Australia. Name your 11.
I think it would be, for the moment, KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma, Pujara 3, Virat Kohli 4, Rishabh Pant 5, Shreyas Iyer 6, 7 will be Ashwin, 7 Jadeja, 8 Ashwin, 9 will be Kuldeep. Depends on the wicket actually, I think. But right now, let's say 9 will be Kuldeep, 10 and 11 will be Bumrah and Shami. This will be my 11 going into the first test match in Nagpur against Australia.
Yeah, public opinion seems to perhaps not be with KL Rahul at this stage. Clearly, they're looking at just the runs, and you seem to have another layer of thought on how Indian cricket should approach KL Rahul. A little more patience, perhaps.
Two things, as we spoke about yesterday. In the last 7 test matches prior to the Bangladesh series, he's got 200s and 250s in away conditions, in tough conditions, when generally Indian players find it hard in those conditions. One was a Lord's test match when it was overcast and looming with a Anderson and a Broad coming at him. He got 100 there. He got 100 in South Africa, in Johannesburg, under trying conditions. So you got to respect that. I think giving him an opportunity against Australia should ideally get the best out of him, but he definitely needs to be more free in his mind, and that will come with the success of some white ball cricket. I think if he does well in ODIs, that will definitely keep him in good stead going into that Australian series. And also the fact that he's been the vice captain for a couple of series now and the captain of the series, to drop him would be a big miss. But having said all that, I feel for Shubman, because whenever given an opportunity, he's done so well. He's done well against Australia, but I would hold Shubman for the moment, explain the situation to him, because he could be in the same situation 5 years later. And we should treat Shubman the same way we treat KL Rahul. And that's why I would pick a KL Rahul and give him those couple of test matches. But if things don't go KL Rahul's way, because the one thing that does go against him is the fact that he's played close to 40 test matches and his average is just mid-30s. I think that is not acceptable for an opener. I think that's one of the lowest among Indian players for sure, who has played 35 test matches. That is something that he needs to definitely work on, and that will be on his mind. And if he wants to cement his place right now in the test team, he needs to get a couple of hundreds against Australia. Otherwise, you can definitely see a change with Shubman Gill doing so well.